Maybe your door cards are a bit battered and bruised from over the years, or maybe they're just a bit plain and boring, or like me, you want them to match them better with the rest of the interior in your car. Well, in this video I'm going to show you the easiest way, I think, to retrim your door cards and make them look 10 times better.
Nobody knows but us, how we roll, how we roll. Nobody knows what we got but us,
Yeah, I'm Kev, and this is North Coast Workshop, a very cool North Coast Workshop where you'll find content on car modification and DIY. Yeah, it's been snowing again, as you can see on the car here. Just had last night, we had the big snow flurry again, so minus temperatures in the garage. I think it's -2 just now, and yeah, it's typical. As soon as I want to do some modifications on the car again, the weather turns crap, although I can't really expect much more in winter time just now, so roll on summer. Anyway, this is the first video of 2023, so I hope you had a good Christmas and New Year. In that time, the last few weeks, the car has just tipped over the 100,000 mile mark, which is really sad to see, but in one way it's still performing really well. Hopefully that continues, touch wood. And what we're doing today is we're going to be matching up the door card inserts with the seats in the car. Now the Cupra R comes with these really nice diamond stitch seats, and what I want to do is try and put a similar style material on the door card inserts to try and tie it in together. Now the door card inserts on the Cupra Rs actually are really nice as they are, come with a nice smooth leather material, but I'm going to sacrifice that by pulling it off and retrimming it with this other stuff I got. Now depending on the car you're working on, whether it's a MK2 Leon or something different, you might not be able to remove the door card inserts. You might have to work on the door card itself. If you do that, you're working with strong adhesive, so just make sure you cover up any other surfaces to protect them so you don't drop glue on them by accident and then damage them, whether it's plastic or paintwork. So let's get started on taking these door card inserts out and getting them retrimmed. So if you know how to get door cards off, I'll leave a chapter marked below that you can actually skip across to the next part to see how to apply the material. So first of all, remove the ambient LED strip and then start to remove with the trim tools the actual insert of the door card. And same pretty much for the back door. Just the back door on the insert, it actually has a door handle attached, so you just need to unclip the back of the door handle mechanism and also the wire for the speaker attachment. Now I'm just going to quickly remove the door handle mechanism from the back of the door card insert. Just a couple of Torx screws to remove and then push the clips in and pull it out. If you're planning on applying the material to the original door card insert itself, just make sure you give the surface a good clean. But because of the thickness of my original material in my door card inserts, I need to remove this then to make space for the new material that's going to go on top. And as painful as it is to watch this, I really did have to take this material off. I did try without the material being taken off, and it was just too thick to actually tuck back into the door card. Now this clip here is actually the third door trim that I did mostly off camera, and this one actually, when I peeled the leather effect fabric off it, it took most of the foam backing as well, which made it 10 times easier to apply the glue. So time to measure out the leather trim to go on top. Now this stuff I got from eBay a while ago, it's not actually available anymore, but there is loads of similar items on eBay just now. If you have a look, this is a kind of diamond stitched effect or square stitched effect leather trim, and it's got this foam backing as well. While looking on eBay for a few screenshots, I actually noticed there's a white stitching effect on black leather, which would look even better on the door cards, but sadly the one I got a while back is just black stitching instead. Now just placing the door card inserts on the leather trim to see what fits best. You're obviously making use of as much material as possible, try not to waste too much, but I did have a chunk of screen here that I could still use, so I wasn't too bothered about wasting this bit at the top. Now the glue that I used was this EvoStick impact adhesive. I'll leave links down below in the description for this. Now I did try a spray adhesive first of all, it wasn't too bad. I also tried then PVA glue. This actually seeped through the stitches in the black leather so you can actually see the white glue afterwards, which wasn't ideal, so in the end the EvoStick seemed to work the best. And what you're aiming to do is just get a nice even layer of this impact adhesive across the whole of the door trim insert. It is really messy stuff as well, so just make sure you pop on some gloves beforehand as well. Now I'm just going to set the leather fabric on top. I forgot to say as well, just make sure that if you're looking for a diamond stitch effect, make sure the orientation of the fabric's correct. I'm just using a cloth here as well, just to gently press down the fabric into all the edges. And because the door card insert is curved as well, just make sure the fabric is touching all parts of it right up into the curves. I then did the same for the other door card insert. This one's a bit easier because there's no hole for the door handle. And I'm just applying a really generous helping of glue along the edge as well. Just a quick check again to make sure the glue is holding the fabric right into the edge of the curves. Now I'll show you in a second the method I used to actually make sure this fabric stayed on the door trim insert, but what I did use originally on the first piece that I trialled this with was I used these wee clamps and I put them on like this. Now this is a no-no basically because they leave imprints on the fabric once you take them off, so don't put any sort of clamps on the face of the fabric that's going to be facing out into the car. What you can use the clamps for is actually holding material along the edge of the door card insert. So if you've applied glue along the edges, these are perfect to hold the material down along these edges. And a little link down below in the description for a pack of 20 of these wee clamps, not the ones I'm using here, but ones that are even better and cheaper to put along the edges. Now the best method, strangely, was to use bin bags full of water as weights to hold down the fabric while the glue set. I found that any other methods, like maybe using bags of gravel or other just items that are heavy, set on top of the fabric would leave imprints on the fabric as well. So the water is just the easiest way not to cause any damage. And here in the picture, I've just set a second bin bag on the other side of the door card insert. Now, depending where you're having the glue set, whether it's indoors or outdoors in a really cold garage like I am here, it may take a number of hours for it to actually properly set. And now time to trim off the excess fabric, so just make sure then you cut the hole for the door handle to go back in, and also doing the edges of the door card insert as well. Just make sure that you have got proper coverage of fabric before you start cutting. Now it's totally up to yourself if you want to glue the edges as well, there's nothing wrong with that. I just found on the test piece I did off camera that when I tried to tuck the material back in on the doors when I was refitting them, the glue had weakened the material and made it very soft and easily damaged. So I decided this time not to do that. It just seemed that the solvents in the glue was actually weakening the leather material and it was making it far too soft to tuck in. Now I had to make a quick stop for a couple of hours because it was dinner time, then bath time and bedtime for Millie, and then obviously once I got back into the garage, it was beer time for me. So it's time to get these new inserts back in the door cards, and you're just obviously connecting the speaker back up and the door handle mechanism. Then there's like a small cut in the fabric here just to thread through the ambient light strip, which I'll cover in a wee bit as well at the end of the video. So I just clicked the insert in on one clip at the far end here, and then using this trim removal tool, this one here specifically because there's no sharp edges on it, they're completely rounded and they're perfect for doing this kind of job, so they're not going to make any sort of damage or marks on the material you're using. Then as you can see, just basically pushing the material gradually around, working your whole way around the edge of the trim. A quick side note here, because I put these inserts back in the car immediately, the fumes from the glue were still quite strong, so the car did stink for a few days. If you can avoid that, then just maybe hold off for a few days before putting them back into the car so the fumes evaporate properly. Then put in the red ambient light strip and push it firmly in place as well with this felt lined trim removal tool. And a quick wipe down with some panel wipe as well to make sure there's no glue on the surface. There was this annoying crease right down the centre. Hopefully the next few weeks with the heat of the car it'll just gradually come out, but it's just because it was folded up for so long inside a package in the garage for a few months. And then the front door, which is even easier than the back door because there's no speaker or handle mechanism. Again, just pushing it in around the edges gradually, making sure you're not damaging the material. And on the corners here I did actually cut off the back of the foam backing just so there's less material to tuck in the corners, because if not it kind of bunches up and makes it really hard to push in. Then reinstalling the ambient light strip again, pushing it in firmly, and that is the job done. So that's door card done now. I did briefly touch on the point about the red ambient light strip that I put in the door cards as well. So I'll leave a link up here in the corner for a video to click on if you want to see how to do that on your car. As always, hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video. Hit subscribe down below as well if you want to catch more videos from the channel in the future. I'm off now to enjoy the rest of my beer in the warmth of the house, so I'll catch you next time. Cheers!